Hi, Sarah. This week, well, like Friday to Monday, which I guess is still this week, we decided to talk about school. So yeah, school. I'm doing this instead of doing homework, so that's exciting. School sucks. Well, it doesn't, but stay in school, kids. I liked going to school. I still like going to school. I still go to school. School. Anyway, so school. Everyone's got to do it. Well, most everyone. You should be in school. Go to school. I'll start at the very beginning. A very good place to start. Kindergarten. Whoo! So my mom had done everything before with sending a kid to school with diabetes because my sister was also diagnosed when she was 4 and was 4 years older than me. So by the time I hit school, she was in 2nd grade. I think that's how grades work. My mom had done this before and was sending another kid to school with diabetes, and it was not necessarily old hat. It was one of those like figure it out as you go things, which often is how it is, I think, with this disease. It was one of those things where she wanted kids to know what it was and what to look for, but also definitely needed the teacher to know. And then, of course, my school nurse knew. Pretty sure there are forms you're supposed to fill out for that. Don't think I did it in the last 2 years of high school. Whoops. So, kindergarten through 5th grade, elementary school. Woo! Depending on where you live. My mom would come in and read this book called like Taking Your Diabetes to School, so that the kids would sort of like understand, but on like where the kids were at level, and then they could ask questions based off of that. And it was really great. My mom stopped doing that, I think, 4th or 5th grade, because by then I'd been going to school with the same people for 5 years, so like they kind of knew already. Middle school. We didn't read books to my class. That would have been embarrassing. I kind of took care of it myself, and I think that's the period of time between elementary and high school, or like my school experiences, where I was the least open about things. And mostly because I was at the age where like I kind of knew what was going on, but like didn't really know how to explain it to other people. And so I was just sort of like that, oh yeah, I'm gonna stop by the clinic before I go to lunch. And so that was sort of like my covert days of diabetes, if you will. And not even really that, because I was still doing things like outside of school with the JDRF, but in school definitely was the more like days. High school was a lot more of the time where I like learned to fly, I think, with my diabetes. I knew how to explain it to people a lot better, and I had reached that point of quiet, begrudging acceptance of this is my life. I might as well get used to it now. Whenever kids ask questions, especially in high school, I loved to answer them. I think that was the time that I started to realize that a lot of people didn't know. And that was when it was starting to matter, because they were adults and they were gonna run into more people who had diabetes, and like, I'd rather set them on the right track. A lot of other people are not comfortable with that, and that's okay. I think I stopped going to the nurse every day during lunch like sophomore year. I'm not sure if that was supposed to, like, I don't think that was allowed, but I did it anyway. I'm still alive, so there's that. This thing is your best friend. Tupperware is your best friend. You want to keep one of these little things in the clinic. And I'm sure that if you have been doing this for a while, you probably already knew that. Even if you haven't been doing it for a while, you probably already knew that. It's like pretty standard, but best friend. Tupperware. So that was my kindergarten through 12th grade experience with diabetes. College was a whole new can of worms. I mean, by the time I got there, I was 18, so like I knew what I was doing. Well, in a relative sense. I think my parents were really, really worried I was gonna die, but I didn't. So, A+, in life. College is a whole different ballgame. It's all-you-can-eat dining halls with all-you-can-eat pizza. That's a problem. Food. And like a different schedule. It really, really messes with your blood sugar. Food. It's a lot of being careful, honestly. First year, I just didn't. Because it was overwhelming, and I was keeping a different schedule, and I just let things fall by the wayside, and that wasn't good. I'm still trying to figure it out, man. Another thing to keep in mind, especially when you get into college, is talking with your Office of Disability, and I think it's different at every school. I'm not really sure I'm going to talk to mine tomorrow for the first time. It's a really good backup tool, I think, to have if something goes wrong. I know, like, if you're below a certain number or above a certain number, you're technically not supposed to test because it messes with how you think. So having the Office of Disability on your side is a really good tool. I just recommend chatting with them. I don't know. I think the one thing that you incur the most out of school setting is just questions. And that can be hard and tedious after a while. It's gonna happen everywhere and it sucks. It really sucks. I think college is the biggest change, especially due to lifestyle and stuff. A thing that I forgot was health first. And that can be really hard when you're like, well, I need to focus on school and I need to focus on this and I need to focus on that. I have club dues and I need to... No. Health first. Because if you die, your club dues don't matter anymore. And I think that's the biggest thing to remember. Sarah and I have actually kept each other in check from schools. The other day when I locked my keys in my car, she was the one who made me go back and call AAA because health first. And that's something that if you're like me or if you're like Sarah, you have a hard time with. I think that's probably my biggest and maybe only rule for school or tip. Something that I still fight with myself. With college, there's a whole like subsection of like real life in there. I think that's really easy to forget. So yeah. School, health first. Sarah, health first. I know we tell each other that a lot, but it is important to remember. That's what I got. Health first. Tupperware.